Before we get in depth, basically, the regulatory picture of medical devices in Hong Kong is a cooperation between the government, industry, and healthcare providers. Currently, it is both the government and healthcare providers, such as hospitals, that regulate devices. Hospitals have historically regulated devices, performed safety tests, such as output tests for electrosurgical instruments, and liaised with industry for the most up-to-date information. It was not until the late 2000s did the government step in to start the framework on regulating medical devices. As of 2014, that system of regulation is still in development, and participation by industry is still voluntary. Many hospitals may still ask industry to fill in forms and provide certificates on devices that are unregistered with the government, while the government will monitor foreign regulatory bodies for adverse event reports and investigate the effect of a particular adverse event report on Hong Kong. It is also not uncommon to see hospitals hire technicians to monitor equipment and perform safety tests. Hospitals will also partake in adverse event reporting and post-marketing surveillance. It is industry's responsibility to prove both in pre-market and post-market that their devices are safe and effective. It is government's responsibility to ensure the safety of the population, and thus they regulate both industry and the healthcare providers. It is with the cooperation of all three does the regulatory picture unfold. I will illustrate this with the corresponding icon on the upper left of the slides. In order to support a prosperous society, medical care must be provided in a way that is high quality and affordable. Hong Kong's medical system is partially privatized. This means that there is a private healthcare system, but if one cannot afford private care, there is always a public system for the population to fall back on. This effectively means that no one is denied medical care and no one goes bankrupt over health care costs. Like the United States, private insurance companies provide coverage which allows many individuals to qualify for private health care. In private health care, there is less of a wait for procedures. It could be safely assumed that the latest state-of-the-art equipment and techniques are used, rivaling that of Western countries, and a certain degree of privacy. Many private employers provide health insurance as part of an employee's remuneration package, but individuals can also purchase health insurance plans if they so wish. For those in which the private system is out of reach, the public system is heavily subsidized by the government. For a flat rate, a patient can get care at a hospital and medication. For surgical procedures, a wait may be involved which could take months for high-volume procedures, prioritized by those in the most dire need. There are many arguments for this dual system, but due to a growing population and influx of medical tourists from the region, that system is now being strained. In the past several years, the emergence of medical tourism from people in China has been the topic of debate in Hong Kong. As the number of medical tourists has grown, a concern on the availability and quality of services for local residents have been called into question. The increase in patients is welcomed by both industry and the private healthcare system of Hong Kong as it translates into revenue. However, the balance of the free market and a high-quality social healthcare system is never an easy thing to achieve. With so many issues on the horizon, there's been a push to reform the healthcare system so it can stay viable in the future. There are many proposals that the government must discuss, but one thing that culture will not let change is a reduction in the quality of health care, as health care and longevity remains one of the pillars of local Chinese beliefs. To reduce strain on the system, regulations have been passed to limit medical procedures that have been very popular, such as OB/GYN services for childbirth. Quotas on how many patients a hospital system can intake for that procedure have been introduced. However, there are still incidences of visa overstays and medical tourists using accident and emergency facilities to gain access to urgent care.